Hi guys, and thank you so much for joining me here on the mat in this space. Today I'm sharing with you a class that I call Adaptive. And to adapt means to evolve. And we're looking at being more adaptable to the things that life throws at us, more adaptive to the people we encounter, situations and our experiences. So in terms of a yoga practice, and in particular yoga asana, we look at remaining movable and breathable and fluid at all times. We move away from alignment cues and instructions in many ways, and we remain curious about our body and what it wants to do and what feels good. Remaining at all times soft and approaching this from a place of softness. And when we have that more explorative nature or intention, we become more adaptable to all types of change. And that's where the magic truly happens. And it's quite a wonderful experience, not only to feel, but for me as a teacher to share with others, to remain curious. So in the theme of that, we're going to be starting in tabletop and exploring Majrasana Cat-Cow Flow and allowing the practice to evolve from there. So when you're ready to, coming over onto all fours, I'm going to try to navigate this like I usually do around Brucey. He's decided to join us today. So tabletop, setting the hands up, spacing them apart, roughly underneath the shoulders, and knees roughly apart under the hips. Sorry, did I disrupt you there, Brucey? You gonna come sit down? Come sit down, buddy. Maybe not on my hands. So here we're just going to allow the tailbone and the chin to float all the way up, creating that nice hollow into the lower back. Feel free to have a little swivel or sway from side to side. Explore what feels good and take a few breaths here, creating that beautiful stretch and open sensation to the front of the torso. And exploring if there's any tension in the back. And then ever so gently rounding the body over. Allowing here the chin to float in towards the chest. The tailbone tucks in and under as if it were caressing your chin. Breathing away, you might add again that little swivel sway through the shoulders and hips. And we're opening up now into the back body. And just exploring what you find here today. And we'll let this now flow with the breath. So as you inhale, float all the way on up, hollowing into the back. Nice and soft with the facial muscles. And then as you exhale, releasing all the way over. And just doing two more, just like that. Flowing with the time of your breath. Really enjoy the sensations that you can find on each round. One final round. Beautiful, and coming over on exhale. So after that last round, we'll hold into this position and continue to let the breath flow. Starting now to tuck the toes under. We're going to enter into half downward dog. So we'll have the knees staying bent here, and then we'll gradually allow the legs to release fully into the full downward dog position. So here the hands feel nice and strong. We're just gripping down into the mat with pads of fingers. Ease back and down with the spine a little, guiding the tailbone towards your heels. Have a look at the knees as they come halfway off the floor, but they're going to remain bent here. Breathe with that. Sending the tailbone back behind you a little further, elongating through the spine. Loosen up into your neck. And just start to feel that fire up through the legs. That power growing and building. And then enjoy unraveling into the full position. If you feel a little blocked by your legs or by any tension, take a couple of steps back behind you further, give yourself some space. And we'll just cycle the legs here a few times. Loosening up, feel free to add the hips and shoulders into that little swivel. Breath is flowing. Couple more repetitions. And then as you come to find that center again, just enjoy for a moment or two, holding into the position, drawing again back through the tailbone, hips nice and high. And as you're breathing here, observing all sensations, the whole body active and working here. The mind focused on the stretch, on the power, on the energy. Going to now allow both heels to raise nice and high, increasing the height of the asana. Here your lovely right foot, if you're able to, can float up off the floor, keeping knee bent, and just press that foot up towards the ceiling. If comfortable, that foot can come a little behind you, perhaps point the toes down to the floor as if you were to dip your toes into a pool of water, opening a little into that right side. And then gently navigating back around and into center, foot comes back down to the floor. Pressing down through the heels. And then again, we'll lift the heels nice and high. It'll now be your left foot that floats up off the floor. Knee stays bent as you press your foot upward towards the ceiling. As an option, you can start to open out into left side. Perhaps point your toes down towards the floor. Imagine dipping your toes into a body of water. Rotating carefully back into center and placing your foot back down to the floor. Adjusting for downward dog and breathing. Nice and steady from here. We're going to give the hands a break, bringing the knees down to the floor. Sink back and down through the hips and coming nice and low into your child's pose. So here you might like just to have the hands out in front, forehead touching to the floor. If you would like to create a little platform for your head, the hands can stack up either flat or into fists, and then allowing the forehead to rest upon them. So working with what you require here. If all is good, by all means, you can place your hands behind your body, beside your shins, palms rotated upward, and just relaxing deeply into your shoulders. Taking a few breaths. And it's sometimes nice just to close down the eyes in Pranattanasana. Your body closed in nice and small in that nurturing position. And really here you're just loving back on yourself and calming everything down. So in a moment from here you're going to unravel carefully from that child's pose position, so rolling gradually up through the spine, from base of spine, right the way through to your neck and into your head. Blinking the eyes so you don't get that rush of blood sort of starkly in the eyes, so nice and easy as you blink. And then here, tilting forward a little, coming onto the fingertips, spacing knees and feet apart, so I'll face towards you so that you can see. Nice spacing between the knees and feet so that you can rock back and plant down through the heels. Adjusting yourself here into Uttanasana, your standing forward fold. We'll start off with the knees a little bit bent, dangling the hands down towards the floor. It's sometimes nice to remain holding onto the legs, so if you feel the need to do that, by all means, that's absolutely fine. Some people prefer to hold on to the elbows and just use the weight of the elbows to draw you deeper down. At any point, if you feel the stretch is too much in your legs or into your back, you can just support yourself a little more with a deeper bend, making sure the kneecaps are tracking forward here. Breathe. If you wish to, just draping around to the left side. Holding that for a moment or two before swaying around to the right side. Exploring how the legs feel. You can do that again on both sides, transferring the weight. And balancing out. Lovely. Hanging nice and loose again. And ever so gently from here, we're going to bend deeply again through the knees. Step our feet back. So we're traveling once more into downward dog. I'm going to just step over my actual dog here. Adjusting, adapting. So Bruce definitely knew the drill this morning, the cues, interrupting as much as he can. So here from our downward dog, we're going to travel forward into plank position, Chatuspadasana, adjusting here feet or hands, getting nice and comfortable to bring your body forward. Now if you need to, I'm just going to bring one knee down. I might be able to bring, don't want to knock Brucey too much, both knees down. And you can use your knees as a form of support here to take some of the weight. Guiding your body forward, engaging through the core and exploring again. So you might have that little sway here happening, and that can still be applied if your knees aren't off the on the mat. Sorry, Brucey. A little rock and roll from side to side. Now as an option, you can either linger here or feel free to take it forward, lowering down through the knees into your upward facing dog. Very modified version for me today. Not wanting to squish my puppy. Breathing steady. Now you can also do this by flattening the tops of the feet to the ground, pressing the tops of the feet to the floor and lifting nice and high up through the chest and chin. Again, explore, breathe, remain soft, movable, fluid. And then nice and steady to travel either back to your tabletop or plank, and then slowly making your way, oh sorry buddy, pinched it there, into your full downward dog. Have you had enough, darling? Into the full stretch. So gently from here, we're going to be placing knees down to the floor, guiding our feet forward and sitting back onto our sitting bones. So I wanted to guide you here into variations of Navasana boat pose. So this is a great one to engage core, but also to get that deep stretch into the legs, more movement, more flexibility there. So for this one, when we're balancing into the sitting bones, I'm going to start off like we usually do with the hands underneath the knees, stepping in. You're going to get comfortable, Brucey? You want to sit down? So here as you balance back into the sitting bones, engaging through the core, and as you breathe, just explore if the feet would like to hover and lift. I tend to lift initially on inhale, getting the rise on inhale, and either the release or stability on exhale. So just work with that a few times here now. We inhale on the rise, and feel free to exhale and hold and maintain. You can bring it to a height that suits you, or just let the flow continue. Exploring where the legs would like to go. And sometimes they surprise you. It's also nice sometimes to view each stretch or each movement like a beginner, like you're exploring your body in it for the very first time. It removes a sense of ego and it brings back that curiosity. After a couple more rounds, when you're ready to, we're just going to bring the hands a little lower to the right foot, holding around the sides of the right foot, and either coming into a little hover, we lean back to that place of comfort, stability and balance, or if you wish to, we can either come into a half stretch for the leg or a full stretch, wherever the body would like to take it to. Gazing at your toes, breathing with what you're finding. Then when you're ready to release, we bring that foot gently down, swap it over to the other side, balancing out. Exploring, being patient, having acceptance. Beautiful. And then letting it go. Now your lovely feet here now are going to come back behind your body, and we're going to adjust the body into what's known as Malasana squat. So your feet here are going to come a little wider apart, and we're going to rock and roll into the feet. And just see if you can come into a place where the heels can comfortably come down and the hands might be able to lift off the floor. So if the heels aren't quite coming to the ground, you can of course either continue to sway or just allow the heels to remain lifted, balancing more into the balls of the feet. If you are holding, it might be with one hand or both hands lifting, and just take a few breaths. Combining here both the flexibility and fire in your legs. Breath remains with you. This is also a great one for the feet. Strengthening, nurturing. I love this as a segue though into your Bakasana, your balancing crow pose. So here, we're going to have the fingertips or the hands to the floor out in front, stepping the feet a smidge closer together, balancing more now into the balls of the feet. Little sway. And this might be enough for you today. It's absolutely fine just to linger here. If you would like to explore coming forward, the hands come out in front, and we just lean, hugging into the upper arms, coming forward and back a few times, getting used to the transfer of weight forward. You might have one foot or both feet coming off. The eye gaze out in front, just exploring here without a rush and without forcing. Soft landings. Nurture the hands when they need a breather. When you have had enough, those lovely knees can travel down to the mat, keeping them nice and wide. Flatten the tops of the feet, and similarly to your Pranattanasana, your child's pose, either having the hands forward out in front. Feel free to support your head if you need to, or simply releasing the arms wherever they would like to go. Softening here into the body and the belly, and letting go for a moment. And after your last breath out, just walking the hands gradually back in, stacking up through the spine. We'll bring the knees together and hips over and down onto one side, feet coming forward out in front. And here just working into two of our forward folds to end off. So we'll start off with the knees nicely bent, working in those stages. Feel here that you can just place your hands either side of your legs. Big breath in, rolls into the body, lifting up through the spine. Big breath out brings you forward and down. Let the head go into the stretch. And the breath coming to you as you hold. Nice and easy. Opening up the back. 2 more breaths here. And then from here, if you would like to extend this further, let your legs straighten now out along the floor from the hips, anchoring down through the heels, drawing your toes back towards your face if that's comfortable. Nice breath in, brings the arms tall. Nice big breath out, brings the arms forward and down. It might be the sides of the feet you're holding on to, it might be the floor, your knees might be a little bent still, it might be the sides of the legs. Wherever you are holding, think about becoming soft, not trying to pull back, not trying to force the stretch in any way, but more so letting your body go into it. If you need to move or adjust in any way, don't be afraid to bring that movement in. But otherwise just lingering with the movement and flow of the breath. And after your next breath out, you can start to lift your head again, Enjoy the next inhale to bring the arms tall. And that lovely exhale to softly release. So that brings us to a close on adaptive. Being able to adapt to your surroundings, being curious about your body, what is going on, and having the freedom to change absolutely anything and everything. So bringing that sense of control back in when you can, and cultivating again that acceptance and patience of the things that might be at this stage out of your control. So to bring the practice fully to a close, I'll just ask that you bring your hands together, thumbs connecting to your body, fingers to the world around you, and closing the practice with the word of Namaste, which means the light in me honors and respects the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me here in this space.